What's up, guys? So for today, we're going to be tackling the question that I probably get the most from kids, athletes, and parents of those kids, and that is, what should I eat and how should I eat? So in this video, we're going to cover three different things. One is going to be calorie counting / calorie deficit stuff. I see a lot of stuff on this on TikTok and Instagram, and I want to share my thoughts on it. We're going to cover intermittent fasting, and then we're going to go over what I believe is the best philosophy for kids. So I'm going to start off with calorie counting, saying that I do think it works and it can be very beneficial. I just personally am never going to actually recommend it to a kid. I think there's something about a 15-year-old or 16 or 14 or whatever sitting down and meticulously tracking all their calories and their protein and their carbs and their fat that just seems a little over the top for me. And I don't think it's something that they really need to worry about. It can be very beneficial, but it's not something I'm going to recommend as a course of action for a child. So the second reason I don't really like calorie counting that much for kids, and this really goes for adults too, I'm not a huge fan of calorie counting in general, is people tend to justify eating crappy foods because they're counting their calories. So caloric deficit and calorie deficit is something that I see popping up a lot lately, and a lot of kids keep asking me about. So basically, if you're in a caloric deficit, that's the only way you can lose weight. A lot of people will say that. I personally just don't believe it. On paper, it sounds like a really good idea. The problem is the application is usually not there. People say, okay, I have to count my calories and get to this certain number, I'm gonna lose weight. That doesn't necessarily mean you can just stuff those calories with Snickers and fried chicken and stuff along those lines. If you eat 1,600 calories of junk food compared to 2,000 calories of grilled chicken, broccoli, sweet potatoes, brown rice, and stuff along those lines, I'm taking this all day. Even if this is 2,000 calories and that's 1,600 calories, if you ask me, this is gonna help you stay healthier and also lose a little bit of weight. So I do think calorie counting can be beneficial. The problem is the application is usually not there, and people really like to use it as a means to justify eating crappy food on a consistent basis. All right, so next up we have intermittent fasting. I'm gonna keep this super short in the explanation of what it is. Basically, you eat in an 8-hour window, you don't eat for 16 hours. That window's up to you. It could be noon to 8 p.m., it could be 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., it could be 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna leave it at that. So as someone who's done it, had success, and enjoyed it, why am I going to probably not recommend intermittent fasting for most kids? The reason is, and I say this to anybody who asks me about intermittent fasting, is to me, intermittent fasting really depends on your schedule. So for me, I had a bunch of clients early in the morning and classes. I would come home around 12. I could eat a bunch of food for about 3 or 4 hours, take some snacks with me, and then I would head back to work. It worked really well with my schedule. For kids, it probably doesn't work out that well. They're on a little bit more of a regimented schedule. They're told when they can eat at school. So if a kid wants to try intermittent fasting, let's say they skip breakfast, and then at 11 o'clock, school lets them eat and they have lunch. They might not be able to eat in class or in the hallways or something along those lines. They're a little restricted. And then they go to baseball practice after. Now it's 5 o'clock and they've only eaten once from 11 to 5 p.m. They go home, they have dinner, and that's it. It's probably not enough food for them to be a growing, developing athlete. So that's why I really don't recommend intermittent fasting for kids. It will usually take away a large amount of calories because they're missing breakfast. I'm going to follow that one up by saying if your goal as an athlete or as a kid is to gain weight, intermittent fasting is probably the worst thing you can do, and it's for that exact reason. It usually is good for people trying to lose weight because it tends to make them restrict the amount of calories that they're eating in a day. They just have a shorter amount of time that they can eat, so they don't eat a sugary breakfast or they don't snack at night. If you were trying to gain weight, I would steer you completely away from intermittent fasting. It's probably gonna hinder you a little bit. Okay, so that's gonna lead us into my personal philosophy of answering the question, how kids should eat, and that's gonna roll into what should they eat, because for me, they're the same answer. When I was 14 years old, I had never heard of calorie counting or intermittent fasting or keto or any other diet along those lines. I just wanted a six-pack and knew grilled chicken and a salad was probably gonna get me there better than hamburgers and french fries. I didn't worry about any timing or any numbers. I just focused on eat quality food that I know is gonna be good for me and try and keep my protein intake high. So my philosophy, and I say this to any kid, whether they ask me if they're trying to lose weight, lose fat and gain muscle, gain weight, whatever it is, eat extremely clean and keep protein intake around 1 gram per pound of body weight. So what does extremely clean mean to me? It means getting your food 85 to 90% of the time from whole sources, such as chicken, steak, avocado, beans, eggs, turkey, fish, brown rice, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes and white rice are okay here and there, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and nut butters. I'm a big peanut butter guy if you know anything about me. You can also throw in some protein bars and protein shakes as long as they're quality ones, not complete garbage. Most of the protein bars out there are just Snickers bars that they just pump with some protein. Now again, I said 85 to 90% of the time. Eating, especially as a 15-year-old, doesn't have to be a chore, okay? Meaning, if you go out, be a kid sometimes. So if you go to a friend's party or bar mitzvah or barbecue or whatever it is and you see something you really want to eat, just eat it. That's why I'm not the biggest on intermittent fasting or calorie counting for kids. Eating shouldn't have to be a chore. It shouldn't be a project. It should be something that they do that's clean and building a habit for when they're older. That's why I just want to focus on clean eating for kids, because that's a habit that they can take with them for the rest of their life. If you're looking to lose weight, gain weight, lose fat and gain muscle, whatever it might be, and you're a kid or a parent asking for their kid, asking me what they should eat and how they should eat, that's going to be my answer every single time, no matter what the goal. The only thing we change is how much food we might be eating. I don't know how many calories you should be eating either. Depends on how much your body burns, how much you're working out, and so many other factors. So it's going to be really important for you guys to play around and learn a little bit on your own. That was the best thing that ever happened to me when it came to my nutrition. I played around with it. I was very patient. It took some time. Play around, find out what works best for you. I promise you, you're going to be setting yourself up for the rest of your life. Guys, if you made it this far, thank you so much. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this type of content, give me a subscribe so that way you can stay up to date for when I release new videos. And if you haven't already, please follow me on all my other accounts where I'm posting a bunch of different content for you guys, okay? See you guys next time.